Imagine not having to go see a doctor for anxiety, depression, sexual-related issues with your spouse or your partner. Imagine being able to get these types of treatments and products without having to go see a doctor, consistently wasting time, travel, and money expenses to get there and back and get the right diagnosis. What if you could get all of that from the comfort of your home? And what if I told you it was more affordable and more accurate? That's where HIMS comes in. Hey guys, Corey here, and welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you know when I post new videos. And if you're feeling generous, you can give me a thumbs up as it greatly helps the channel grow. Also, the memberships are live below this video. You can become an exclusive member of Invest with Corey to support the channel at any time. So today we're going to be talking about HIMS and HERS. HIMS is a company that specializes in medical and prescription-based products for consumers on their website using MedMatch, which is an AI computer learning machine software in order to match consumers to providers with not only the right service, but the right products that they need tailored specifically for them based on millions and millions of anonymized details in the database from previous trials, previous prescriptions, and all kinds of data that's been compiled. MedMatch AI machine learning matches consumers to providers. Over 100 million people are impacted in the United States alone by conditions in which HIMS specializes in. HIMS is undertaking significant efforts to increase their subscriber count. These efforts are driving the stock price up significantly. Their previous earnings beat the estimate by 150%. HIMS has beat the earnings estimate 3 out of the last 4 earnings calls. HIMS is also investing in a diversified approach to scale properly. HIMS is also enhancing its suite of personalized offerings across each of its specialties. HIMS also launched hard mint chewables in men's sex health, hair blends in women's dermatology, also the first multi-action offerings in heart and weight management. HIMS is also benefiting from attractive price points. This has driven their demand and their customer retention drastically. There's also been an increase in demand for HERS dermatology and mental health and weight loss. HIMS also expects each of these specialties to deliver more than $100 million in revenue in 2025. That's an additional $300 million in revenue for HIMS and HERS. HIMS and HERS also has MedMatch, and they expect that this will provide much more accurate matching between providers and consumers. This way, the consumers are receiving the products and the treatments that are best tailored for them and that will work better. Banking on all of these factors, HIMS is approaching their first year in $1 billion in revenue. HIMS will have a first positive net income in 2024. Year to date, HIMS has gained 37.5% versus the stock market average decline of 13.9%. HIMS' estimated earnings has increased to 11 cents from 8 cents over the past 60 days, showing significant trust in HIMS. HIMS has delivered record annual income of $825 million in 2023, a 65% increase over 2022. Estimates for earnings on HIMS and HERS for 2024 and 2025 continue to rise. HIMS and HERS also has beta AI computer learning driven MedMatch technology for treating depression and anxiety, leveraging millions upon millions of anonymized data points from previous trials, prescriptions, and customers. MedMatch's computer learning AI, an anonymized database of millions upon millions of customers, will allow it to uniquely identify the needs of a patient in real time, helping with treatments and prescriptions. You may not know this, but the U.S. currently has a major mental health crisis, and many avoid seeking help. It can be expensive and time-consuming, going back and forth for multiple visits to the doctor to get treatments, whereas MedMatch can use the database and machine-driven AI learning technology to match you with the proper provider, as well as proper treatments and prescriptions that are uniquely identified for you, saving you time and saving you money and allowing you to have a little bit more anonymity. This way you don't have to to feel embarrassed going to the doctor or seeing a doctor. You don't have to worry about any of these things. HIMS is the first company to bring this to mainstream on the internet for pretty much every average person like me or you. Nobody else is doing this, which puts them in a category of their own. An AI company, a data collection, and a full self-driving company all in one. HIMS is giving you a prescription, a medical, AI, data-driven hub that also has analytics and all kinds of data built in, so they're kind of like Tesla. HIMS is a bargain, not to mention out of all the analytics rating I've seen online, all of them issue HIMS as a buy or a strong buy. Right now, HIMS is at a bargain at $11 a share. I got in at $11.50 recently when the price came down. And I believe that if they match or beat the estimate, which they're projected to do yet again, upcoming earnings is this Monday, which is tomorrow by the time you see this video, it's going to be the last chance to get HIMS below $12 in my opinion, as it's highly likely HIMS is going to go back to $13 or $14. And with year-over-year growth continuing to go up every single quarter, HIMS is going to work its way up. This has the potential to be the Tesla of the medical and consumer pharmaceutical area. They could surpass CVS and Walgreens in stock price in the coming year or two, and maybe even go higher. So in my opinion, not only is HIMS a buy, I consider it a very strong buy. I'm going to read verbatim a quote from CEO Andrew Dudum. He said, "We believe that the key to our mission is building a foundation of innovative technologies that empower providers to deliver a level of clinical care unmatched by the traditional system. At the heart of our work is patient trust in their provider, in their care plan, and their treatment to work. MedMatch is an incredible, exciting step in transforming healthcare to truly serve the patient and ultimately give the patient confidence in their care. This truly is a remarkable time for the medical field. Anxiety and depression, weight loss, sexual relations with your partner or your significant other, HIMS and hers ultimately is the Tesla of their sector. I believe this is a really big opportunity to get in because HIMS is doing things that nobody else in their sector is doing, just like Tesla did. Let's take a look at the chart and we can start getting into a better position and how you can get into HIMS in time for earnings. This way, you see a much more upside potential if you miss that train and it takes off without you. I just want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. I'm here just to provide you guys with strategies, coach you on fundamentals, technicals, financials, and help you make better decisions on how to grow your portfolio. It's ultimately up to you which stocks you'd like to get into and how much of a position size in those stocks you would like to take, as it's ultimately your money. Okay, so we're looking at HIMS and hers here, and you'll see that last year they hit a high of $12.29, but back in the pandemic, they were around $17. I don't really count that. It's super inflated at that point in time. In 2021 and 22 was a recovery. So pretty much from the beginning of 23 on is what I really consider. They're kind of around $7 to $12, back to $7. So between 7 and 12. This previous earnings, they skyrocketed up to $17. Now they're back down to 11. This to me is a buy. This is a bargain. I don't see HIMS going back to $9 at all. It might dip down to 10, maybe to 9 and right back up. But with earnings, it's hard to say where it's going to go in this area here. But after earnings, we're going to end up back in the 12 to 13 or 14 range, maybe sooner. This is an absolute buy. And it's very normal to see prices dip down into a fair value gap like this. And you can see it's dipping and rejecting right about here, which is halfway through the fair value gap, which is this big green candle. So we could see Monday a dip and then a jump back up. There might be a liquidity grab down to $10. So keep your eye out for that. Either way, by the end of trading on Monday at 4 p.m. before the earnings call, my guess is that HIMS is going to be back up around $12.50, $13. And during that time, awaiting the EPS news, I believe HIMS is going to go up to about $14. And if they match or beat the estimate, it's going to stay there. If they beat the estimate by a lot, it's going to go up even more. Let's go ahead and take a look at the financials of HIMS. So total revenue from $113 million all the way up to $246 million. Gross profit from $85 to $201. Very good numbers. Operating income from -$20. Now they're up to -$8. So that's improving. Pre-tax income -$19 to $2.2. They're now profitable in their pre-tax income. Net income -$19 to $1.25 million. They are now profitable. Their EBITDA from -$18 million to -$6 million. So they're working their way to having all their numbers good. If this quarter can be profitable across the income statement, look out. HIMS is going to start making a big move. So let's go ahead and look at my my favorite, which is cash flow. We can see cash flow from operating activities started at negative 6.39 million in quarter 2 2022, and now the previous quarter up to 21.9 million, 21.98, which is basically 22 million. Cash from investing activities started at 12 million, now they're at 20 million. Cash from financing activities, 353,000, now they're at negative 3.96 million. We can see the reason why their cash from financing activities went down is because of other activities or other uses, meaning they have outflow of cash going to financing activities, whether that's paying down debt. It doesn't say, but that's the reason for that negative number. However, their free cash flow went from negative 7 million to this previous quarter, 10.79 million in the positive. They have the potential to make more profits. They have 10.79 million in free cash flow and 21.98 million from operation activities. Very strong balance sheet and cash flow statement. And if the next quarter is as good or better and the EPS is as good or better, then HIMS is on the perfect path. So if HIMS can provide an even better EPS and earnings than the previous quarter and beat the estimates, they're going to be on the path to being more and more profitable and their stock price climbing up drastically. So let's go ahead and take a look how we can get into HIMS and what I recommend as strategies to get in and to make money from holding this position long term. Now, because HIMS has an earnings call coming up literally on Monday so soon, and this video is going to be coming out the day before, I highly recommend buying the shares sometime after 8 p.m. on Sunday evening, going into Monday morning in the pre-hours, or watching all day Monday for the lowest dip. Try to find the bottom, don't get too greedy, and get in. However, if you want to sell puts and you don't want to buy the stock, then you can click on sell put, expiration May 10th, and you could sell $11 put and make $115 juicy premium. That is a 10% return, as I don't see HIMS going below 11 on this earnings, and even if they do, your break-even price would actually be $9.85, which is an absolute steal, in my opinion, for HIMS. Click on this right here, click continue. You probably could get 115, maybe 120, which is a lot of premium on a $1,000 investment. Once you buy the HIMS shares or get assigned, you can then sell covered calls, and we can go out 1 week of covered calls on HIMS. If you plan on buying the shares and then just selling them during the earnings call to make a quick profit same day, that's fine, but I highly recommend holding long term. And when you buy the shares on Monday, I would sell a covered call for Friday, and we could go ahead and sell a covered call for $14, and you would collect $45 juicy premium. Let's go ahead and get this put off there. There we go. And this would give you $45 juicy premium if HIMS closed the week at $14 or higher, and the stock price goes into the money on this option. You would get assigned at $14, but you would make over $300 profit from the stock plus the $45. So you'd make $345 on $1,100 investment, which is a 30% return just about. So whether you sell puts for profit, buy the stock and sell it the same day, or buy the stock and then run the covered calls on it, you're still making juicy premium and profits either way. HIMS either way is going to provide you with profits. However, the best case for you would be to buy HIMS, sell the covered call for the end of the week, because you're capitalizing on implied volatility. After the earnings, if HIMS stops at say $14, then you could just roll your call out at the end of the week to the following week, May 17th, and go up to $15 and collect more juicy premium. And you can do this every single week. And in 6 to 8 months, make back most of the money you have in HIMS anyway, and you're able to have the shares for free, basically. Let's see how long it would take you to basically replenish the $1,100 that you purchased the shares for. So we can see 1 week out to May 10th is going to give us $45 for a $14 covered call. May 17th would be about the same, but the spread's bigger, so get about 55, so 10 extra dollars. May 24th, we would get ourselves about another 5 to 10, so about $10 a week. You make about $40, $50 a month, but then again, it's hard to estimate at this point. What I've seen in the past with HIMS is that's also going out pretty far. So what we're going to do is $45 for the first week. We can't go that far out and estimate because the stock price is only $11. Once the stock price is at $14, you'll be selling a $15 call, which should be the same as selling a $13 call right now or a $12.50. The $12.50 call going out 2 weeks is about $90. So it's safe to say you'll make about $30 a week selling HIMS. That's what I've seen selling HIMS previously when I owned the shares back a few months ago before the previous earnings when I got assigned. I was able to generate about $40 a week, sometimes $30 a week. The average seemed to be about $30 to $35 a week in covered calls. So let's just see what that would average out to. About $35 a week times for. So every month you can generate about 140 uncovered calls with HIMS times 10 months is 1,400. So you realistically, in about 8 to 10 months, can make back all the money you spent on the shares, which means you have HIMS for free. So if HIMS goes to $70 a share, then that means that $6,000 profit on 100 shares in a year, 2 or 3 years down the road is all yours. Full profit, because you can make back everything in 8 to 10 months. However, keep selling covered calls forever, because every year you're going to generate $1,400. This is why I recommend getting in for the long game. It's much better than the short game, 100%. So if you buy the shares on Monday, May the 6th, for $1,100 and sell them for $1,400, you made $300 in every 100 shares. You made about 30%. However, doing it this way, you can make 100% in 8 to 10 months, hold the shares, and in the long term, you get to garner all the profits when HIMS skyrockets with their AI machine learning technology with MedMatch, which is the first of its kind. Okay, let me show you right here why it's better to do it the long way instead of the day trading way. So let's say you buy 100 shares at $11.30. That's going to be $1,130. And then you sell those 100 shares the same day for $14. You now have $1,400, which is a 24% return. Okay, you've profited $270 profit. However, if you buy the shares, same price, $11.30, $1,130, and then you sell covered calls, $140 a month times 10 equals $1,400. You make roughly the same $270, which is 24% return, which is $270 roughly, yet again. However, the difference is instead of selling your shares like you did over here, you still have the shares and have the same profit, meaning now you have a 124% return. And on top of that, if the stock price doubles, you now have a 250% return because the stock price doubled. And if it goes up 3x, you now have 375%. And after year 2 of selling covered calls, you're up even more. So realistically, you could be up a lot of money in 2 to 3 years. If HIMS triples in price, so hypothetically, if HIMS was to double in stock price in the next year and a half to 2 years, and you sell covered calls for 2 years, let me show you what that would look like. So you would have 2 years times $1,400, $2,800, and the stock price doubles. So now it's worth $2,260 for 100 shares. So that is a total of $5,060. Basically 5x your money. So if you were doing this on HIMS, this realistically could happen. In fact, it's most likely going to happen in the next year or two. You can 5x your money. So why mess around with a small 20% profit when long term you can make a 5x profit with a more stable, consistent, and safer strategy? So you're asking yourself, should you invest in HIMS? Well, considering they're in the middle of their fair value gap from the previous earnings, they're estimated to beat the earnings yet again, and they have new AI computer learning MedMatch, which is revolutionizing the sector and the industry that they're in to uniquely provide patients and customers the perfect match of a provider and prescriptions. It's almost like the Tesla of the medical and consumer sector. And in fact, this specific company, HIMS and Hers, is not only for consumers for medical prescriptions as well as providers. So if you're asking yourself, should I invest in HIMS? Well, my opinion, the answer to that question is completely and utterly yes. This is the perfect entry for HIMS, between $10 and $12 to get in, and right now it's in the low 11s. If you can get in perfectly before this earnings in the high 10s, low 11s, I think it's the perfect entry point into HIMS. HIMS is setting the bar extremely high with what they do. With their machine learning AI technology, MedMatch, which computes anonymized data from millions and millions of trials and prescriptions, customers, and providers, I believe they're not only setting the bar high, they're making it pretty much impossible for anyone else to compete with what they're doing. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for all the subscriptions, the likes, and the comments. If you guys have any questions or want to see any specific videos, leave them in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you know when I post new videos. And you guys can become a member right below this video at any time. The memberships are now available to support the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. And remember, until the next video, let's grow our wealth together. Take care, guys.